Hey y'all, welcome to Adventures with Aggie, brought to you by the Ryan Martin Foundation. Today we have one of the RMF student athletes named Martrell Stevens. He's going to be a freshman at the University of Illinois this upcoming fall, and he's going to play wheelchair basketball there. He's going to tell us a bit more about his story and how he became an RMF student athlete. Please welcome Martrell.
Martrell, how are you doing today?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. Thank you so much for coming on. I'm so excited to meet you and get to know more about you and your life. But first, I guess, could you just kind of start by giving some background on who you are and what you do?
I'm Martrell Stevens. I play wheelchair basketball, and I'm going to be playing for a college team, University of Illinois, this fall.
That's so exciting. I'm so excited for you. I'll be cheering you on, watching all the tournaments. I watched my first wheelchair basketball tournament a few weeks ago, or not a few weeks ago, now it was a few months ago. And I was hooked, and I was sending it to my team, like Adventures with Aggie team. I was like, y'all turn this on. I think Illinois was playing actually. Anyway, super excited for you. That's going to be awesome.
Hey,
Yeah, I guess just a follow up for you. How did basketball become your sport? How'd you find it?
so when I was 4 years old, I got shot because I'm from Chicago, Illinois, and I grew up on the south side in the inner city. So that was I was in the car, and a guy just shot the block a couple times, and I got hit when I was in the car. But that's how I got my spinal cord injury. So ever since then, I've been wheelchair bound. But I still go to physical therapy. I still do a bunch of stuff to work on my gaining mobility and gaining my legs and my control. But yeah, that happened. But when I was 6 years old, I think 2 years after my accident, I was contacted by a coach in Chicago. He came up to the hospital and he had introduced me. He like brought a wheelchair up, like a wheelchair basketball chair with like the slants and the wheels and stuff. And he let me get in it. And I was rolling around. And ever since then, I've been like in a wheelchair basketball chair every week practicing. If I was with I started off with the Chicago team. Like I said, I grew up in Chicago, but after my eighth grade year in high school, I graduated and I received a scholarship to go to a boarding school in Boston, Massachusetts. And that's where my brother was at the time too. So I got to see him and I got to go to school with him. So that was good. But that's when I connected with Ryan. My Chicago coach actually introduced me to Ryan at a national tournament in Louisville, Kentucky. I think it was I think I forget. It was like my eighth grade year, but it was that tournament. And then Ryan had because Ryan's in Connecticut and I was in Boston, but we connected there. So there was no junior team in Boston that had wheelchair basketball for the varsity level. So Ryan was a good connect, and ever since then I've been playing for Ryan and the Trojans. And this year was my last of my senior year, but it's been a great ride playing for them and with all the teammates I've had there and all the coaching and everything.
That's awesome. Thanks so much for the background to kind of setting the stage, telling us about your story. And you've perfectly led into my next question. I'd love a bit of story time, I guess. Uh, what are some of your fondest memories as an RMF Trojan?
Probably like the hotel life because I wouldn't like I depended a lot on like even the parents because my parents were here. They were in Chicago still, and I was out there, and they really took me in as like one of their own. So when we weren't on the court and like when we weren't learning together in practice, I would say the hotel life is one of the biggest things I miss. Maybe we would go to the pool or like, we just like be in each other's room playing the game on the like PS4 or Xbox. But yeah, I would just say the hotel life because they really took care of me.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's like the traveling family, like sports
Hmm.
teams when you're going different places, you spend all this time together, get to know each other really well, right? Awesome. Let's talk about training a bit. I guess, can you kind of walk us through a typical day of training?
So when I was at school, I had access to the gym like every day. So I was I was like my afternoon activity basically which was required was fit club. So that was like weight room and like gym work, but they let me do like a hybrid between using the courts every day and using the gym every day. So I would go in there. I had a plan. I had like a weightlifting plan. It was like a basketball weightlifting plan, but it was more adapted towards like people with disabilities and stuff. So I would go do that. I would like, do you want the sets too? Like,
Whatever you'd like to give us, I'll take.
yeah, I had like a whole plan. I would do like shoulders, I would do chest, I would bench sometimes, I would do like rows for the back because in wheelchair basketball you need a lot of back muscles because you're always constantly pushing. You want to make sure you take care of your shoulders. So I would do a lot of like shoulder care because like over time that muscle could, like, if you use it wrong or like if you train it improperly, it could like deteriorate and like it get weaker and like it would just like mess up what you got going on. But yeah, I did a lot of that. I did a lot of stretching too, a lot of just like care for the body, just to be loose and when you're on the court feel as comfortable as possible basically. And then when I was on the court, I would always, Ryan sent me, I forget, like, I was thinking it was my freshman year, but I've always had it. He sent me like an Excel sheet of like, or like a doc sheet of like basketball workouts. So like the U-turn drills, like chair work and like doing a bunch of stuff like pushing, making sure my cardio is good. But I would also do like shooting 200 shots from the close wing, shooting like 100 shots from like the middle, like center in the paint. But it was just always working on my shot, working on what shot I'm going to try to perfect today. So I learned that from Ryan.
That's awesome. Yeah, I think I totally understand what you were saying about training your body to function the right way.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't do that and I ended up tearing my bicep. So highly recommend people listen to you and do what you did rather than what I've done. But sounds like you're killing it. So after these training sessions and things, can you kind of walk us through how you prep for a game day with the Trojans or another team, whatever you'd like?
So game day, we usually have like a tournament style games unless it's like a scrimmage day. But when we like would have tournaments and stuff, we would usually like drive or fly down to or fly up to wherever like we're at. Like one time we went to Phil, no, not one time, but a couple times we went to like Philadelphia and we had a tournament day. We went to Virginia a couple times, but the drive is always like the calm before the storm, I want to say, because you get to listen to your music on the road and like there's like a bunch of stuff. But when you get to the hotel, that's when the nerves start to kick in. And then game day morning, like you can't eat breakfast, but you like force down an apple. But then like when you get on the court, I mean, before the court, we do like warm-ups and stuff and usually like talk and like talk about the game plan and stuff. So that gets you going. But yeah, I would just say we do the warm-ups and then we get to game time. And when game time comes, all the nerves, they go.
I love that. The adrenaline rush, right? Or I guess it's a long adrenaline rush from the second you get to the hotel.
Sure.
That's so fun. So fun though. Awesome. Let's see. A few more questions for you. My favorite question. Have you ever gone one-on-one against Ryan?
That's like the one thing I want to do after every practice. Like the one thing I asked Ryan. And like, yeah, I've gone one-on-one against Ryan a couple of times, but I want to say that was like when I was younger, not when I was not now. Now I haven't gone against one-on-one recently with Ryan, but I have, and it didn't go too well on my end. But I held up a little bit. I even went on one with it. I went one-on-one with his teammate Pat Anderson. You probably know him.
Yeah, definitely.
That didn't go well either. I had the confidence. The confidence was there, but I was lacking in a couple departments. But working every day just to get to those guys' level.
Definitely, definitely. That's so fun though. You're on your way. I promise. I'm excited to see it. Maybe, I don't know, a few years from now. Try again. Let's go again. I want to be there too. I want to see it happen. I love it. Awesome. A few more just kind of about what's coming up. What are your athletic goals in the next few years? Obviously, Illinois is coming.
Mhm.
How excited are you? And I guess how did this come about?
So basically, I was recruited from like my junior year because that's when you can start recruiting. But I was reached out to by Coach Bushy, and he's seen my game and he liked me from the national tournament and a bunch of other stuff before that. So we kept in contact, and I got a letter of commitment signed, and the rest is history. But I'm super excited to play next year. Super excited to practice every day with the guys they got on the team now. And I just want to fill my role and like play as much basketball as possible, gain as much knowledge as possible. And I'm super excited. But hopefully, in my near future, we can also try out for a USA team or like try out for the USA basketball team or like go to like a bunch of camps and stuff. You know.
Definitely. I feel like more of these things are coming as the COVID restrictions are lifted and things like that.
Hmm.
More camps, more sessions, more training sessions and stuff. But I'm cheering for you. Super excited. I might have to come stop by Illinois, watch one of your games. It's
For
very
sure.
soon.
Yeah.
That'd be
Let's
awesome.
when I get the schedule up.
Yeah, that would be so fun. We'll support you too. Adventures with Aggies supporting you on social. Can't wait. But just I guess a couple questions just about wheelchair basketball and how it's impacted your life. What have you learned about yourself through the sport?
I probably learned like the most I've say of any other activity I've done because everything that applies on the court, whether it's like communication or like learning how to work with others, basically, and like at different levels too. Because when you're in juniors, it's not everyone's not at the same level as like you are, or someone's higher than you. So you always like in a different position, whether it's like every other practice or like every game, like every year. But yeah, I would just say I learned a lot about learning how to work with other people and learning how to like problem solve almost and like learning how to like know the people you have around you because it really just make everything go smoothly. And I would just say my coaches taught me that too because they've always had so much like order and so much, I don't know, like both my coaches, like Coach Dan from Chicago and Coach Ryan, they both have similar like morals, whether it's like having like your schoolwork done first before stepping on the court or like treating your teammates well. They both taught me those things, but it definitely relayed over into life because I've like learned that a lot of stuff we take on the court, we do it off the court just as much.
For sure, for sure. So speaking about people being on different levels, maybe not playing levels, but
Mhm.
what would you say to somebody who has never been to a wheelchair basketball game? I guess what would you kind of tell them to expect, like as a newcomer to the sport?
I would just say expect a new energy. Like it's almost like I watch a lot of stand-up basketball, like a lot of NBA, but wheelchair basketball is like different. It's like a lot of technique and a lot of finesse involved in it. And like it's not as like because there's no lateral movement. You can't jump up and down. So when you see guys do what some guys do, like it's special. And like when you see people fill their role, it's like they have a job and you can see it more like than you can in the NBA.
I totally agree. I was hoping that was the point you were going to make. Not that I like fed you the answer, but I that's what I was kind of thinking in my mind too, just from watching it from the outside. And I haven't ever been in a chair or tried. I would love to try it one day because y'all are so strong. I don't know if I could make it, but would love to try it out. But yeah, no, I totally agree with you. Let's see. I've got two more questions for you. Um, First one, I love asking athletes about their mentors and people. You've kind of already talked about some of the coaches that have helped you along your way. But yeah, would you mind? You can shout out anybody you like. But yeah, who are some of these people that have helped you?
I would definitely say Coach Dan, Coach Ryan. Those are probably my two biggest because they like are my two main coaches. I would say my middle school principal, Dr. Shabazz. I would say my high school basketball coach, Mr. McVeigh. He helped me with a lot of stuff. And my brother, probably one of my biggest. Shout out to my brother, William Stevens. He's playing D1 ball at Miami, Ohio right now. He's like a junior, I think.
That's awesome. We're cheering for him too. I love that.
Yeah, yeah.
Awesome. So cool that you have a great circle of people there to help you along your journey. But let's see, last question for you here. This is the question that I ask every one of my guests, always at the end. What is one piece of advice you would give to younger Martrell?
I would say get used to trying new things because I wish I like stick because I like recently tried sled hockey
Mhm.
and I was on the team. I was on the sled hockey team my sophomore to junior year, I want to say. But I like tried sled hockey once, but I don't think I liked it. But I would just tell my younger self to try like stick with new things. I did a lot of sports, so I'm not gonna lie, it would have interfered with basketball maybe a little bit. So that's probably
Okay.
why I hesitated. But I would definitely tell myself to try to do as much as possible because I've learned so much from like even now playing sled hockey a couple of years ago. I've learned so much from that sport that I didn't per se learn from basketball. So
Yeah.
like I would just tell myself to do as much as possible, even though I was already doing stuff like that.
Yeah, no, there can never be too many things, never
For
too many
sure.
things to try out there. But that's so cool. Sled hockey's crazy. It's so cool, so fun to watch. I can't ice skate, so I don't know how that sport works at all. But it's super exciting, and I hope that works out for you too. But awesome, great advice. I love ending the show on that question too because it's always a happy, hopeful note. This hopefully somebody listens to you and then goes out and tries something new today. That would be exciting. But Martrell, this was perfect. Thank you so much for sharing your story.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Martrell, thank you so very much for coming on the show and sharing your story. Stay tuned for more episodes of Adventures with Aggie coming on Thursday.